Well, hello everyone. Exciting news is on the horizon. I'm joined by Executive Director of the Schwartz Center here at Carnegie Mellon, Dave Mawhinney. Dave, you want to say hello to everybody?
Hi, everybody.
We are excited to introduce a new program that's coming out here just around the corner. But before that, I want to make sure that everybody knows who exactly Dave Mawhinney is these days. So maybe you could introduce yourself not just as the executive director that I know and love today or the professor running around campus, but you were an entrepreneur before any of all of this. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, about entrepreneurship, and that will lead right into...
Grew up in Western Pennsylvania, typical Pittsburgh kid, lower middle class. My grandfather worked in the steel mills down along the Mon River, and I grew up in the time that the decline of the steel industry. So I saw this mass exodus of people from Pittsburgh, and I loved Pittsburgh, and I wanted to make Pittsburgh a great place in whatever small way that I could contribute to that, and ultimately decided that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and in the late 80s came to Carnegie Mellon to get an MBA because that was really the only pathway to become an entrepreneur. The internet didn't exist, right? And well, it existed, but not in the form that we know it today.
Not as accessible in the 80s.
Exactly. And so I was very fortunate to meet a gentleman named Don Jones, who created the Don Jones Center for Entrepreneurship, which is now part of the Schwartz Center for Entrepreneurship, and talked him into starting a company. And lo and behold, the internet happened, and we built the largest business-to-business site on the internet in the early 90s. So that started my entrepreneurial journey. Along the way, I always tried to tap into the Carnegie Mellon networks, but I always got the Heisman, right? And it was a very research-oriented school, and they didn't appreciate or promote entrepreneurship, and I was always frustrated by that. The one area I thought they could help me was at least in recruiting, because we have the best damn engineers in the world that come out of Carnegie Mellon. But when I would try to get a prime spot in a recruiting fair, they would say, go stand in the corner, because you're only hiring 2, and Google and Facebook are hiring 50 or 100 engineers. I thought, wow, that's just not right? And sold my last company called MSpoke to LinkedIn in 2010 with the help of a lot of other great entrepreneurs that were on the team. I was hanging around the hoop here at Carnegie Mellon, started to do a little adjunct teaching, started mentoring some people. And
then, what kind of stuff were you teaching when you started?
I was teaching undergraduate intro to entrepreneurship.
Okay, so what does that look like? So what does the young person think about entrepreneurship today? Is it just writing code? Are they thinking about only doing venture capital? Like, what's the range?
Well, I think the range is they are usually pretty naive, right? Unless they grew up in an entrepreneurial family, they don't have a sense of what it means to be an entrepreneur. What my job was to motivate them by showing them shining examples of great entrepreneurs that came through Carnegie Mellon that were just like them, right? My favorite example is, did you ever associate the iPhone with Carnegie Mellon? Of course you don't. Most people don't. But the guy that built the first 4 iPhones and had a team of Carnegie Mellon engineers was Matt Rogers. And then Matt left Apple to go found Nest Labs, which is now Google Nest, which is their home. Yes, exactly. And
in everyone's home.
Matt's the most down-to-earth, nice guy you'd ever want to meet. And so I try to show the young entrepreneurs examples like that to help motivate them to, consider that pathway instead of going into the mind-numbing, crappy job of being a consultant or an investment banker or even an engineer in a large company.
Please tell us how you really feel.
For all my friends that are consultants and investment bankers, I'm just using you as a muse. I love you.